Hello you marvellous mallards, and I'm the Minstrel Duck. Today we are going to be playing Aurora 4X, the space strategy game, or as some like to call it, Dwarf Fortress in Space. Now, this is quite a intensive game. There's a lot of aspects to it. I'm still learning it myself, but I will try and do a brief walkthrough of what to do at each point. So if you would like to play it, you can find out. Also, the website is chock full of tons of information, tutorials. Quill 18 did a really good series, so you can look at that and check that out as well. That's where I got my inspiration from. But before we start, I'm going to give a brief story overview of what's happened. So, it's 2016. The Earth is in an interesting state. Certain major countries are putting in presidential candidates that others could see as world-ending, if not world-changing. Now, at this point, the great country of the United Kingdom decided to put in a new ruler, a ruler who could see the future of humankind and would put it through. And they chose me, a duck who liked bardic clothing, and it would be me who would save the human race from themselves. Now, not everyone agreed, but over the next couple of years, I managed to persuade all the countries to follow my glorious banner, and now I am the leader of the world. I have set my duck scientists on great new exploration. We have discovered the trans-Newtonian elements. This will help us conquer the stars again since the last Apollo mission in the late 70s. So, that is what's happening. We have discovered these brand new trans-Newtonian elements with my great scientists, and we are going to conquer the stars. Now, when you boot up the Aurora game, you will get a little box that looks like this. Now, this can be a bit confusing at start. The thing that I want you to do is press this nice button down here that says new. Create a new game, press this button, and then enter the details. So we're going to press that, and then this one will pop up. Now this is the one that is going to help us create our game. So up here is our game name, something for you to remember it by. I'm going to call it what the universe has called it, because we've got a brand new universe. I'm going to rename our universe, and the correct option is Ducktopia. So the universe is no longer the universe, it is now Ducktopia. Now, down here we've got a couple of things we're going to change, and I'll go through what each of them do. So, starting year. Now I've said we're going to start in 2018, so 2016 came along, the UK put me in charge, and by 2018 I took over. Now, maximum number of systems I'm going to come back to, and I'll come back to all of this in a minute and tell you what it is. We're going to move now down to the starting empire parameters for an Earth-based start. Our empire title is not going to be the Terran Federation, it's going to be named after me, and it is, of course, going to be the Minstrel Ducktatorship. So, I am now in charge, I am the Ducktator, I'm the supreme god, and I've been infused within an AI to control everything. The short name of our empire will be the Ducktatorship. Ooh, that's not how you spell it. Human species, I still rule the humans, and we still have Earth as our home world. Government type is going to be player race. There's a number of different ones, but because it's being controlled by me, we're going to stick with player race. The main empire theme is going to take the United Kingdom as our naming convention. I've taken those as our ranks, and our commander theme will have English names. Now, these are the two most important settings. If you select Trans-Newtonian Empire, this means you're ready to take the stars quite early. It gives you a lot of starting tech points that you can put into whatever research you want, and it also gives you more shipyards and more starting research facilities. I'm going to choose a bit of a slower start. We're going to be doing a conventional start. Now, what the conventional start does is it gives us a lot less stuff. So you see, I've got no tech points, so I will have no research unlocked straight at the start. I've only got one starting shipyard, and I've got 2 research facilities. That's a bit low, but we're going to stick with the 2 research facilities. No, it's a bit low. I'm going to put it up to 5. 2's a bit low. It's going to take us ages to research anything, and we want something mildly entertaining. And then 5 having 20 would be a bit too high, so we're going to start with 5. So I have 1 shipyard at the start, and I have 5 research labs to put all of my new scientists in. Now, this last bit, this is really your choice. No missile bases for conventional start. I'm going to have it on. So in our story, I destroyed all the missile bases on the Earth because their ground-to-duck missiles were killing a lot of my companions, and therefore I destroyed all the missile bases. You could keep them on. Now, what this would give you is essentially conventional rocket bases on planet Earth. So, essentially, you're going to have a silo full of ICBMs. Now, ICBMs are okay at hitting other continents on Earth. They're not so good at hitting space objects, which is what, if we come across an alien race, they will probably be. So, I'm going to just have them off. I'll build my own bases if and when I need them. Now, all of this is about your species tolerance. I'm going to leave it how it is. So, it says how much gravity we can have, how much oxygen we can have, what difference in temperature the human body can cope with. This is virtually what our human tolerances are, so I'm going to keep that. And then last, I'm going to move down to this bit, the starting system. Now, Sol, as you may know, is the proper name for our solar system. Sol is the sun. Now, the Sol jump points are essentially wormholes. You find these gravitational anomalies and you scan them down. This will then jump you into a different system. So what it does is when you jump through it, it will roll a dice between 1 and 1,000, because that's the number of systems we've got. It'll roll the dice and you will go to another one of these systems. Now, because you want to get out of our solar system, we suggest you take either 5 or 6. So I'm going to take 6 Sol jump points. Now, this maximises my chances of finding a nice route throughout the stars and find something that's good and habitable. So I'm going to put that up to 6. Now, these last 2, I want to scan all of the system bodies, so I'm going to leave that off. And all of the jump point surveys, I'm going to research that too. So we're doing this as in, we've started where our current technology is. We've discovered these trans-Newtonian elements, but we haven't done anything with it yet. I'm going to keep the starting tech points at 0. I'm going to do all of it automatically, so I don't care about this. Now, the other thing you'll see is this population over here. During our war, what this means is our population was essentially killed, where it's approaching something like 8 billion at the moment. We've only got 500 million people left alive now. Now, this will start off slowly because there's less people working in manufacturing, but I've got less people to care for, so I'm happy with having that small amount. And now, that's essentially my setup done there. That's what I'm going to have, but I want to focus on this side now. Now, there's quite a lot I don't care about here. I don't care about these first 2 because I'm going to start as an Earth-based system, so I'm going to keep it on that. I'm going to keep these 2 really strong computer opponents, but I don't want the extremely strong one, otherwise we're going to lose. This is the only box I'm really going to focus on. Everything else I'm going to essentially keep the same, apart from one thing. The thing I'm going to change is this: the number of computer-controlled empires at game start. Now, what this is an alien race. So this says at the start of the game there will be 1 alien race. I want it to be 0. Now, this won't mean there will never be any alien races. That's where these 2 numbers up here come in. Now, what these 2 numbers up here mean are, when I jump through one of these Sol jump points into a new system, I will have a 30% chance of summoning a new enemy in that system, an NPR. Now, it might be hostile, they might be friendly, don't know. But it will give me a 30% chance of summoning them. Now, when this race, which will eventually turn up, starts exploring themselves, they'll go through jump points. Every time they do it, there is a 10% chance when they discover a new system that they'll summon another NPR. So, as it gets bigger and bigger and we go through more systems, there are going to be more NPRs created. And considering we have 1,000 systems, we are going to have a lot of AIs in the end. Now, I don't care about the realistic commander promotions, that's going to handle itself. I don't care about the inexperienced fleets, and I don't care about this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the orbital motion for asteroids. So what this means is the asteroids in our asteroid belt between Mars and Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter. Between Mars and Jupiter, they'll also orbit the Sun. If you had this off, they wouldn't. Now, it is going to slow down the game a bit, but it is going to be more realistic. Then apart from that, that's everything I want to do. Now I'm going to press this button that's create game. Now, that was really quick. It's only created one race. If I had this as a higher number, it would have taken a bit longer because it had to create more races, but that is now complete. Sorry about that, phone was ringing, so I had to take a quick stop. Anyway, same point as we were before. It's a bit faster than the Dwarf Fortress one. It's only creating this one race. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the OK button. Now, that's going to disappear in a second. As soon as it stops responding, I'll put a quick cut in. I'll be back when it's done. Okay, we're back. Game setup is now complete. And it says press select to enter the game. Now, we'll get this screen back, and this says my Ducktopia. Now, I've also got the Duckiverse, which is where I do my testing. So, I've got my Ducktopia, and it says press select. I'm going to press select in the bottom right. And this is the actual game. Everything is controlled from this small bar. When you close this, it will save. And then when you reopen it, it will come back to this. Now, this is just my background. The game doesn't look like this. Now, this can be a bit confusing right at the start, so what you want to do is go over to the Empires tab, so you've got Game, Space Master, Empires, and then go to System Maps, or on your keyboard just press F3, and you will get this. Now, this is a bit overwhelming still. This is our system map. It's not the most beautiful game in the world, but we can get by with it. It looks a bit confusing at the moment, and that's because we're zoomed out really far. You might see some things you recognise. Eris over here, for example. We'll zoom in a bit. I focused on Eris. Out here somewhere will be Pluto. Let's zoom back in on the Sun. Pluto will be around here. There's Pluto. And then, as we move in, you'll start seeing some other things. Here's Neptune, then Uranus, Saturn. Let's zoom in a bit more. Jupiter's going to be in that mess there. Then you've got our asteroid belt. Zooming in further, focusing on the Sun. Then you've got Mars, Earth, Venus, and Mercury. And lastly, right at the centre, is the Sol, our Sun. So, this is a bit difficult to see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is make this a bit less crowded, and I'd suggest you do the same at the start. Over here, you have a little panel where you can control a load of things from. What I want you to do is go over to Minerals, and then click on Show Mineral Concentrations and Show Surveyed Bodies. So, the first thing this will do is it will show which of your planets have been scanned and which have minerals. Now, for example, if I disable these again, you'll see Earth's there. When I put on Show Surveyed, it gets a yellow ring showing it's been surveyed, and then mineral concentrations. Now, that hasn't made it any less crowded at the moment, but we can do that. What you can do is, where is it? It's not on that one, so it must be on, yeah, here, under display. What you're going to do is go over to this. The reason it looks so crowded is because you have all of these asteroids and you have all of these comets. Click on this button, show asteroids with minerals only. There we go. All of our asteroids have disappeared. So what we've been left with are the comets that are zooming in, going around our sun and then flying back out. They only come round every so often, so that won't be too bad. You've got our dwarfs planets like Ceres over here. They're still there. And then you have our planets and their moons. So Jupiter over here has got tons of them. And if we click on Earth and then zoom in loads, you'll see Luna sitting here. So that has cleaned it up a bit. We've got rid of all of the stuff and our map is looking a bit less clean. If you ever want it back, just untick this box, you'll see them all again. But I'm going to keep it off for now. So let's get started playing. what I'm going to do, because we're going to be starting at Earth and we're not going to be going very far this episode, I'm going to zoom in until we can see Luna. Now, we are on Earth. What we are going to do is want to do some stuff with Earth. So up here are a load of different buttons. What I'm going to do is click on the first one. Now this is our colony summary. So you'll see here we have one populated system. It is the system of Sol. It has 500 million people, half a billion. All of them are on Earth's capital, the human capital of Earth, and 500 million people are there. Now, we click on Earth, we see it's an imperial population, it's human. The planetary suitability, which is how suitable it is for our race, is 0. The closer to 0, the better. Earth is perfectly suitable for our race. It's where we've evolved, and therefore it is 0. Administration level required, I'll come back to what that means. Then we've got annual wealth creation, how much money it makes, our population, where they all work, the infrastructure required, which I'll come back to when we talk about colonisation, the protection level, the actual protection level. That's all fine. What I want to look at is the buildings, and the buildings are over on this side under installations. Now, what I've got is a military academy, which is level 1. That's where we make our officers, whether they are starship officers, whether they're fleet officers down at the fleet headquarters, or whether they are our scientists or our geologists. They are all created here. Next down, we have a deep space tracking station. This allows us to see objects. And we have a maintenance facilities which are built into our shipyards. We have one shipyard with one slipway, so we can create one ship at a time. We have 600 conventional industry. I'll go into what conventional industry is in a minute. We have 5 research labs. And that's virtually everything we want to look at the moment. So, we're going to do something with all of these research labs. So, I am going to go over to this research tab. Now, here you have got nothing currently being researched. But you'll see here is a list. It says biology and genetics, and there is a research. I could research genome sequence research, a background tech that allows research into the creation of a new species. So we could genetically modify our species to be evolved to use higher temperatures, need less gravity, something along those lines. I don't care about that right now. What I want to do is click on here and go to the construction production tab. Now, here is a research called Trans-Newtonian technology. The starting tech for all trans-Newtonian technologies. Now we've discovered these trans-Newtonian elements. If we go over to our, not our industry tab, our mining maintenance tab, sorry. Our mining maintenance tab, we've discovered all of these elements. Now all of them can be found on planet Earth. Other bodies won't have as many. So we've got germanium, neutronium, carbonide, tritanium, boronide, magnesium, vanadrite, thorium, iridium, corundium, and gallicite. Now all of these are in black apart from thorium. And let's have a look why. We create 580 thorium per year. That's created by our conventional industry. But we use 600. I wonder why that is. Let's go over to industry. We're producing fuel for our starships. We're using 600 in industry. They are each taking a thorium a year, and they are creating 1.2 million litres of fuel. Now we are going to need fuel because we're going to need to go into space, so I'm going to leave that going. It's going to show up as a deficit. I don't mind that too much at the moment. So let's go back to our research. I'm going to try and unlock this trans-Newtonian technology. This is going to help us actually use these elements we've discovered for different things. Now, this is going to be a fun start. If you look over here, we have a load of scientists. Now, I will explain what this means. To research trans-Newtonian technology, we need 5,000 research points. Our 5 facility labs create 200 research points a year. Because I have 5 of them, I'm therefore going to create 1,000 research points a year. But there is this bonus category. So for example, if I put Lewis Yates on trans-Newtonian technology, and I am going to do it, I'm going to click on his name, and then I'm going to press create down here. Are you sure you want to create a research product for him using all 5 labs? Yes, I'm sure. Now, you'll see him up here. He's got all 5 research labs, which were giving him 1,000, but it's creating 1,200, and that's because of his bonus. Lewis Yates has a 20% research bonus, so he takes 20% extra research points from his labs. Therefore, we get 1,200 overall. So instead of the 5 years it would have taken, it's going to take a bit less. It's going to take the 1st of March 2022. It's currently the 1st of January 2018. So it's going to take about 4.5 years instead of the 5 years. So that's a bit better. Now, the reason I said we didn't have a very good start is you'll see Lewis Yates has got this MK. This means he's specialised in the category of missile/kinetic weapons. There's no research that's currently to be done here, but that's where he specialises. If you have a look over here, Jacob Whittaker's also specialised in that. Joel Short is, and so is Brooke Meller. I've got 4 speciality. That's not the right word. Specialists in missile and kinetic weapons. And then I have Jonathan Johnston. What an unfortunate name you've got. And he's in sensors and fire control. That's not great. Now, the reason this isn't great is, yes, Lewis does a 20% bonus to this, but look at this. Research bonus is 1 times 1 for non-specialised, as in 20%, or 4 times scientist specialisation. If Lewis Yates was, instead of being missile and kinetics, he was construction and production, I would be getting an 80% benefit from him. I would be getting 1,800 a year, and it would be significantly faster. This isn't great for me. How am I going to deal with this? Well, I'm going to set him going. I'm perfectly happy with that, but I need some more people. So I'm going to go over to the industry tab. I've got my unused construction. I've got 600 conventional industry. I'm not using any of it. I'm going to upgrade my military academy. Now, upgrading this military academy is going to get me more people. The number of people who graduate each year will be higher. Hopefully I'll get some scientists, and hopefully there won't be missile and kinetic weapons. So I'm going to make this military academy. It'll tell me it's going to cost 2,400. It's going to be germanium, carbamide, tritanium, iridium and corundium. Now, I'm not using any of this at the moment, so I'm perfectly happy with that. I'm going to set this going. So I'm going to create this job. I want one of them. I want to use 100% of our production, and I'm going to create it. You'll see there it's done. That'll be done by the 1st of January 2022, slightly before our research finishes. I'm happy with that. Okay, now we have done this. There is one last thing I want to do in this episode, and that's to start looking around the stars. So I'm just going to close the screen. I can get it back up by pressing any of the buttons at the top. I want to have a look around the area. I want to see if any of these other places have some minerals on them. And that means I'm going to have to send out a ship. So, let's try and design a ship, shall we? What you need to do is all of these buttons up here. The first, I think it's 4 of them, go to the exact same screen, this one, but different tabs. So the first one is that summary screen, the second one's the industry screen I showed you, the third one takes you to the research. I think the wealth also brings you here. Yeah, it does. Ground forces brings you there, but commanders doesn't. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this opportunity to show you commanders before I go into any detail. Now, currently, there is no ship to command. I've got scientists that are technically commanders, and they're doing all the work. I've seen them, but I can make my research slightly faster. And how I do this is using a commander on planet Earth as the governor to make it quicker. So what I need to do is you need to go over on this left screen here. It says ranks and seniority. I want to change this to civilian administrators. Now, I have got 3 civilian administrators. Now, Governor of Earth, which will give a bonus, requires somebody of rank 2. So that's either Laura Myers or Billy Oliver. Evie Shepherd can't do it. So let's have a look what Laura Myers does. So Laura Myers, if you look up here, she has administration rating 2. I need an administrator of rating 2, that's fine. She does a factory production bonus, so the factories will produce a bit more. She's got a mining bonus, that's quite good, so I'll get more minerals out. Terraforming bonus is not great. We don't need to terraform Earth, it's perfectly fine. Population growth bonus is quite good. Let's see if Billy's any better. Shipbuilding bonus, factory production bonus, wealth creation bonus. background. He is quite good, but at the moment I feel I need this mining bonus, and the factory isn't hurting either. So what I'm going to do, select Laura Myers, select the Governor of Earth position, and then press assign. Now, because it's up here is green, it shows it's happened. It's a bit hard to see right at the start, and it shows as unassigned, but if I pressed unassigned then assigned, she would be unassigned. It's a bit difficult to get your head around, but you get used to it. Also, when you start getting tons of places, it can be a bit difficult. You can use this search by ability to find a person as well. So, mining bonus, it would show me Laura Myers as the correct person for that. Perfect. So I've assigned her. There is one more thing I can do. I can go over to my naval officers again. I haven't got any warships, but I can press staff officers. Now if I press staff officers, nothing shows up here yet. And that's because I have no fleet space lord. I have no admiral, vice admiral, rear admiral, but I do have a commodore. Now the commodore, it doesn't show up for some reason, but if I click on captain, there is the commander of the fleet headquarters. Now this is the person who's down on our naval headquarters on base, the place training all of our people, and I can put a commander in place for this. Now I can either put in my captain, Stephen Parker, or Nicholas Dixon. Let's see what they do. Nicholas Dixon gives a survey bonus and a communications bonus, and Stephen Parker does a fleet movement bonus, a survey bonus, and a fighter operations bonus. Now, the reason I've come here is I want this. I want a survey bonus because it's extremely helpful for me for what we're going to do next. So I'm going to assign Nicholas Dixon as the commander of the fleet headquarters. Now, those two are the only ones you have to do manually. Up here, you have the automated assignments. I leave this on a 2-year tour length, and every 2 years it will manually reassign people to the correct positions. I'm going to let it do that. So I'm going to let it select who's going to be communications officer, fighter ops officer, intelligence, logistics, operations, public affairs and survey. I'm going to let it decide that for itself. So we've done that. Now the reason I wanted to do that is I've got someone who's better at surveying and I've got someone who's better at mining, and I can see that already. If I go back here and go back to my mining, it hasn't shown yet. I'd have to go a tick of time, but this stockpile will go up in a minute when I show you it. So I'll do a tick of time before the end of this session. Okay, so we have set our production, we've set our research, I've assigned my commanders, I want to design a ship. So I need to press this class design icon up here. And you get this lovely class design screen. What you need to do, hit the new button down here, and you will get a class name based on your settings. So for example, I've got tribal because it was probably a UK one. If I press auto rename it, Victory, yeah, Agincourt. So these are all names that the British Navy use for their ships. The Resolution, the Illustrious, the King George. Perfect. First ones, I'm going to rename this after some of my friends who I play games with. So if you would like your name, just put it in the comments. We're going to call the first one the Navia. Now, this is the Navia class. It is going to be a ship. I don't want it to be a PDC, which is a Planetary Defence Centre. I want a ship. And this one doesn't have anything to do with the game. You don't need to do it, but it's helpful for yourself. This first vessel I'm going to make is going to be a geological survey vessel. Now, this is going to go out to all the planets and find out if they contain any minerals. Now, what I've got here is the Navia class geological survey vessel. It has some armour, it weighs 255 tons. It goes 1 kilometre a second, which is really, really slow. It's intended to deploy for 3 months, and it's got a range of not applicable. Now the reason that is because I haven't put any engines on. So let's put some engines on. Let's go over to the design view. Now, here is everything you can put on. When we research, we will get more of this. In fact, we haven't actually got the geological survey scanner yet. What I will do between episodes is I will fast forward time until we finish that first research, and then I will research the geological survey vessels, the scanner, and then we can create a ship. So I'm going to finish the research between sessions, but I'll show you basically what we're going to do first. Now, you'll see here, I can't see anywhere there's an engine. Huh. Now we know in 2018 we have engine tech. We have conventional rocketry engines, which the Jet Propulsion Laboratories create and NASA use to fire their rockets, along with people like SpaceX. They're not here. Right. Now, we do have the technology. We have to design an engine. So I'm going to show you how to design an engine before we can create this. So I'm just going to close the class design. If I reopen it, it's still there. The Navi is still there. It doesn't delete. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create an engine. And what you need to do is go over to this one, which says create a research project. Now, when you first open this, you will get an error. And that's because you have a missing background tech. It says you're unable to design active sensors, missile fire control without active sensor strength technology. Now that's because it auto goes to the active sensors missile control project type. I don't want that. There's a load of different types here, but I'm going to be creating an engine, so I want to go over to engines. Now, you will get this screen. The first thing says an engine technology. Now, we haven't got any new engine technology, so we're going to have to make a conventional engine. We have no power efficiency. I'll come back to this one. We have no fuel consumption ones. We can't reduce the thermal reduction, which would make us harder to spot on thermal sensors, but we can do other things. Now, I want to create a commercial engine. Now, what a commercial engine is it's one that's designed to be large, it's designed to put out a lot of power, and it's designed to be massive. It's designed to never break down. Now, the advantage of a commercial engine versus what this currently is which is a military engine, is the commercial engine doesn't require maintenance. On a military ship, you have to pack in a load of crew maintenance so they can repair the engine on the fly. Now, that's because, how I see it, is the military engines are top-of-the-range prototypes. They have issues. These commercial engines are huge. They've got all of these mechanisms in place to save fuel, to stop them breaking, and therefore you don't need to maintain it. Now, to get it to become a commercial engine, we have to do this. Engines of 25 hull size or greater with power minus 50% or lower are classified as commercial. Let's take the second part of this first. So at the moment I have an engine power of 1 and it's got a hull size of 5, so it has minus 5%. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this power minus 50%. So if we go up here, the engine power. Now, I'm getting 1 times the engine power out of it, and it's using 1 times the fuel. What I'm going to do is take it down to 50% engine power. So if you look here, it's halving my engine power. What used to be 1 engine power is now 0.5. But look, it's not using half the amount of fuel. It's using 1/5 of the fuel. So I've half the power, but it's become massively more fuel efficient. That's great, so I can go much further. What I'm also going to do is do the first part of this, the engine size of 25 hull size or greater. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it to 25 hull size to start with. So 25. Now this is going to reduce my fuel consumption by 25%. So I'm getting a larger engine and I'm using even less fuel. Now, at the start we had a 1 engine power engine which used 0.95 litres of fuel per hour. I've now got a 2.5 engine power engine, which is 1.5 times more powerful. Well, 2.5 times more powerful technically. But look, it's only using 0.133 of fuel. And that's because it's a commercial engine. We've made it big, we've made it fuel efficient. It's massive, so it weighs a lot. But it creates a load of power. So I'm going to create this engine. I'm going to get it to suggest a name for me. Yeah, Marsden Heavy Industries can create this commercial engine, and I'm going to create it. Now, you don't get a pop-up saying it's done it, but if you go back to our research screen and then go over to power and propulsion, you'll now see it here. I will put someone on to research that between episodes. So between episodes, I'm going to let the Trans-Newtonian technology finish, and I'm going to research this, and I'm also going to research if it's there yet. Right, I'm just going to research those two in the break. So I'll see you next time. We'll design a ship, and we'll hopefully start sending it out. Thanks for watching, guys. If you leave a like, it would be very much appreciated. I've been the Minstrel Duck, and remember, you too can be a Minstrel Duck. All you got to do, grab your loot and go duck yourself. Thanks for watching, guys.